What's going on, guys? It's me, Nintendork, back again. So, I've been having a lot of fun with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. In fact, I was literally just playing it before I shot this video. This is actually a reshoot of a video that I previously worked on, but I just wasn't happy with it, so here I am, remaking the same video, which I didn't want to have to do, but quality, am I right? So originally, I was just talking about my thoughts on Tears of the Kingdom. Basically, I just shot my impressions right after I beat the game, and there was just still so much to do. I kind of glossed over certain areas, and I feel like I just speedran the video. But yeah, overall, I kind of wanted to shift the direction of this video and talk about one of the major problems that I had with Tears of the Kingdom, and also warn you guys in the process. So it goes without saying, but I will be talking about spoilers later on in this video, but for those of you who haven't yet completed the game, I'm gonna warn you about something. The Geoglyphs. Something you get pointed to very early on in the game, actually. It's whenever you hit the base level of Hyrule. You get told to go visit Impa, and she will tell you about this stuff. I didn't do that in my first playthrough. And to an extent, I'm glad I didn't. See, at the beginning of the game, Link and Zelda are like beneath Hyrule Castle. After going a little bit deeper, they come across a mummified Ganondorf with an arm attached to him. Ganondorf wakes up, and then as he tries to attack Zelda, Link jumps in and pretty much protects her, damaging the Master Sword in the process, and then he tries to catch Zelda, but he fails, and then she disappears. And that's the mystery. You know, like, what happened to Zelda? So, the reason I'm bringing this up, and I'm not considering this spoiler territory because it's like the opening cutscene of the game, but the reason I say that is because, like, after, you know, doing the Great Sky Island quest, and then, you know, falling back down into the base level of Hyrule, you get tasked with going and visiting Impa, and she tells you about Geoglyphs, and the Geoglyphs basically tell you what happened to Zelda, and I don't know, like, I feel like this game, in my opinion, it doesn't want you to know what happened to Zelda until about the midway point. And I'll get into that with my spoiler talk, but if I had to tell you to go about it anyway, do the Great Sky Island, get back down into Hyrule, and then from there visit the 4 races doing their quests in all the temples, and then there's a mid-boss fight at Hyrule Castle. After that is when I would tell you to go do the Geoglyphs in chronological order, because you'll get, I think it was 14 and 16, they're story related, but for me it just spoiled the game. See, I was told, don't go for the Master Sword until after you have all the Geoglyphs. And to an extent that's true, but I didn't know that, like, see, like, I was gonna wait until I actually went to go get the Master Sword to do that, but there was actually a story beat that spoiled what happened, and I was just so lost. I was like, what's going on? So, I don't know. Anyway, that was just me telling you guys that haven't yet completed the game, be careful. And you know, if you're not the type that cares for spoilers, go for it. Just play the game how you want. It's your own single player experience. So, that was the spoiler-free talk of this, so I could just warn you guys about the Geoglyphs, because they're just so important in this game. So yeah, I will give you 5 seconds to click off this video. You have been warned. This man is owed an apology. I said it. So, back in 2019, I believe, at E3, we had our first look at Tears of the Kingdom's trailer. Some people were hoping it would come out, you know, that year. Some people were hoping it would come out the next year, and then, you know, it finally got a release date. I don't exactly remember when. I want to say it was like 2021 holiday season, and then it got delayed, and it just kept getting delayed and delayed, and everyone got mad, and they're like, how could it possibly take 6 years to make this game? And I'm just like, how did it only take 6 years to make this game? Honestly. So yeah, they truly took their time to make sure this game was everything it could possibly be and more. And I applaud them for that. And holy moly, this game is insane. Definitely my game of the year. So far, at least. And I don't see how it couldn't win Game of the Year. See, that was the original title of my last video, was how could this game not win Game of the Year? But I don't know, like, I felt like I could talk about it in this video, but also address the problem that I have. So, the problem that I had with it, when I started the game, I was originally told, don't get the Master Sword until you have all of the Geoglyphs. So I'm like, okay. You know, I didn't really know that the getting the Master Sword was story related at first. See, I just kind of assumed that I could, like, wait until I was tasked with going to get the Master Sword to doing all the Geoglyphs, and to an extent I was right, but I'm going to start out by saying that yes, I know when you get to Lookout Landing, you get tasked with going to talking to Impa, and then she points you in the direction that shows, you know, all of the geoglyph locations, and there's like a room that tells you what order you're supposed to do them in. But I feel like that's just so vague for like such an open world experience. Like, the geoglyphs are just littered everywhere around Hyrule, and I saw them before I even knew what they were. I didn't know they were story related or anything, but like, you walk up to the tier, you're gonna press A. Like, it's gonna happen. So, I mean, thankfully, like I said, I held out for watching them, and then I just like watched, and I just like went and got them all in order, and then I watched them, but I already knew what was gonna happen because the story gets ahead of the geoglyphs. So, like, I watched that one cutscene where Zelda's pretty much telling Minoru, like, I have to do this, I have to become one of the dragons in order to get the sword to Link. So, like, at this point in time, I didn't even know Zelda went back to the past. Like, and it just allowed for so much confusion. Like, when you start the game, you don't know what happened to Zelda. Like, there are Zelda sightings, Zelda's acting mysterious, you don't really know what's going on. Like, I loved how eerie and creepy the vibes of this game were. But, like, I feel like the game wants you to be creeped out by this, but then if you watch the cutscene and you find out, oh, Zelda's stuck in the past, it's like, huh. So, like, I feel like if you went to the 4 races, did their quest, then went to Hyrule Castle, find out Zelda's just a puppet, then you went and did the geoglyphs. You could watch them all in chronological order, doing, you know, the main quest, finding out she got sent to the past and they sealed Ganon away. You know, you would find all this out before going to that final memory where you find out that Zelda became a celestial dragon. And then you could just go on and defeat Ganondorf, and, you know, the rest is history. The real question, though, is how could they have fixed this issue? Now, I'm not a game developer, but I feel like it could have went one of two ways. One, you come across a geoglyph, and it doesn't play a designated memory to that geoglyph, but it plays whatever order they're supposed to be in. That way you don't miss a story beat, and you can go on with the story. That one's a little iffy because, like, Breath of the Wild, for example, there wasn't much story to that game. In fact, I'm glad they added the DLC. It really gave the champions the spotlight they deserve, because I feel like they were just kind of glossed over in Breath of the Wild for such amazing characters that they were. But that's also just my opinion, so I don't know. I feel like the memories in Breath of the Wild were more like self-contained in a way, that they didn't really get ahead of themselves, interlock, or spoil the experience for you. They were all just kind of like, oh, you forgot your memory, remember it. You know, like, it was just Link recovering the lost memories he had from 100 years ago, basically. But in this game, it's literally telling a story as to where Zelda went, what happened to her, also just the history of Hyrule and the imprisoning war. So, like, another way that I feel like they could have fixed this problem is something that the fans were wanting so badly, and that is literally just to play as Zelda. With Zelda being stuck in the past, there would have almost been like a whole nother dynamic to the video game, and it could have added so much more depth, because they had it there. It was all, like, all the pieces were in place. I just don't think they reached as far as they should have, and I know Nintendo's still learning this new Zelda format that they're doing. Aonuma's confirmed this is what they want to do going forward with the franchise. Whether or not that will be, you know, the Breath of the Wild style, or if we get like a whole different generation of Legend of Zelda with the same open world format. But man, it would have been so cool if you could have played as Zelda and, you know, lived through the history of Hyrule, you know, seeing more of what she was doing on her end rather than just watching a few cutscenes. The closest thing that I have to compare it to is Spider-Man PS4, where like you'd be playing as Peter doing his thing, and then every once in a while you would get a call from MJ or Miles. You would have to go play through their quest to find out what happened, sometimes 15 minutes beforehand, sometimes present time. But you'd be playing both parts of the story rather than just getting a cutscene as to their whereabouts and then continuing on as Peter. I don't know, that could just be me. I think it could have added a lot to the story, but I'm not complaining. Like, this game is not bad by any means. This is just a singular nitpick that I had. There are a few other things that I could pick the game apart about, but I think the good definitely outweighs the bad here, and it is so much better than Breath of the Wild in a lot of ways. You have, like, the Sky Islands, you have Hyrule itself, you have the depths that you can go underneath Hyrule and find these light routes to light the area up. it's just so creative. And now there are like different caves you can go into, and Link's got his cool new right arm. What's his right arm, right? Right arm. But yeah, I don't know, this was just like a quick little rant that I wanted to do. I don't know how well structured this video is going to be. It was originally me talking about my thoughts on Tears of the Kingdom, and I still want to do that, which, like, honestly, the ending to this game, it's definitely up there for my Zelda game endings. I feel like Breath of the Wild was kind of like, it just barely got there, but it didn't feel as like, but I don't feel like there was much closure there. So, with this game, you know, you have like the boss fight with Ganondorf, which has like 2 or 3 stages in and of itself, and that's not even including getting to him in the depths underneath Hyrule Castle. But man, like, one of the best gaming experiences I have ever had, at least as of late. Because, like, you know, I said you have like the few stages with Ganondorf, but then he swallows the sacred stone and becomes a celestial dragon. But it just leads to this really insane boss fight where you're still on Ganon after he transforms into a dragon, and Dragon Zelda shows up, and she's pretty much helping you in the battle, and you're having to like hop from dragon to dragon in like the most cinematic way possible, hitting these like gloom spots on him until finally having to like nail him in the forehead with the Master Sword. And then like after that, I thought the game was like done, but no. I literally get chills listening to it, but you get this cutscene where Rauru and Sonia are pretty much using their power to turn Zelda back into her Hylian form, and they also recover Link's arm in the process. And you know, what an ending, right? But then you actually have to catch Zelda. So now you're literally free falling as Zelda's right below you, and you have to catch her. And I really appreciated this because it's almost going full circle. No, it is going full circle, because in the beginning of the game, Link doesn't catch Zelda, and you know, the events of this game happen, but at the end you get another chance to catch her, almost like, and yes, I'm gonna bring up Spider-Man again, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man when he failed to catch Gwen. I was going through so many emotions through this because they had like an orchestrated version of Zelda's Lullaby playing as you like try to catch her, and then the closer you get, it shifts into the Legend of Zelda theme, and then you fall into this lake, and then you bring Zelda to safety, and then there's like a softer Zelda's Lullaby playing in the background. Man, what a game. I really have enjoyed my time with it. I'm still enjoying my time with it. Gonna try to 100% it like I did Breath of the Wild. Yes, I was the idiot that collected all 900 Korok seeds, and I'm gonna do it again. So, but yeah. Anyway, this video has went on a lot longer than I wanted it to, so I'm gonna end it here. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my rant and me just nerding out about a video game. So may the Triforce be with you.